What's up, guys? It's Omega Lion. I'm bringing you gameplay here on Grid using a Stoner 63 with a red dot, Python ACOG with Scavenger, Sleight of Hand, and Marathon. Now, the Python ACOG is just fun, but the Stoner is an actual good gun. Now, it's unusual that I'm using red dot here. The reason for this is I'm not a really big fan of the iron sights at all. However, the Stoner is unlike most of the LMGs in that it has a particularly quick reload, sleight of hand only helping this be a little bit faster and more usable. So it becomes more like an assault rifle. Also, considering the fact that its aim down sights is equivalent to all assault rifles, except for the Enfield. Now this gun is better than most people think it's to be. It's got a high fire rate, high power, and it has no damage drop-off. So in other words, it will kill someone in 3 shots at any distance if you're not shooting through a wall. Now this is a big upside considering the fact that generally, not as much in this game, but generally I like to shoot people at long distances. So as you can see, it's got low recoil, and I'm starting to build up a little streak with it. Most people use extended mags. It's not my kind of thing. As I said, I don't like the iron sights. So I come over to this part and I start patrolling this area. Once again, as I mentioned in my last commentary, you gotta protect B, so I make that my main goal. Now, on something not related to the gameplay, I'm here to talk about sort of one thing that people seem to have getting in their way of having fun in Black Ops, and that's the fact that the FAMAS and 74U are so powerful. Yes, this is true, but as you can see, I have 2 commentaries. This will be my second, but I'm really never gonna post those because I can do well and have fun with just about any gun in this game, except for, I would say, the PM63, which I really just hate. But one thing that people need to get past is the fact that this game isn't entirely about doing well. While when it goes on YouTube, doing well is a big plus and makes the game more interesting to watch, it's not the main point. So basically, I'm dedicating most of my channel to using guns that you don't see all the time. For instance, a Stoner red dot, an Uzi. And that's basically what I'm going to strive to do. Bring you gameplay with guns where you're not like, oh, I hate getting killed by that thing. Or, oh, wow, 74U, man, you suck. This is just terrible. So, and there's also upsets. For instance, the Stoner it's probably more powerful than the FAMAS. It has just very similar recoil. It kind of reminds me of Modern Warfare 2 when I use this gun, except for the fact that it makes you run slower, and that's really the only downside. The other downside is you cannot silence it, but that's not a real big deal because I don't use silencers anyway unless I'm using a ghost class, which I actually will end up using later, and I'll talk about that later as well. So, like Modern Warfare 2, you had people running around, it was quick gun kills, faster gameplay, and that was good, except for the fact that the game was just broken. I mean, people were abusing certain things in the game, such as scavenger and replenishing like all explosives as well as one-man army. And you also had things like the UMP silenced, which had almost no drop-off damage at distance, making it like a 3-shot kill with practically no recoil. You also obviously had excessive quickscoping, which isn't that bad, but gets annoying when you're the person who's not doing it on your team, because you start to lose and it really just makes the game more frustrating as a whole. Now, these problems could have been fixed, and had they have been, I'd probably still be playing Modern Warfare 2 right now. Oh god, that was a dumb death. What you should have done there is you never run with your equipment out, just as a quick tip. But anyway, in Modern Warfare 2, had they fixed some of those problems, it would have been pretty much the perfect COD, because it had the pro perk system, it had fast gameplay, it had cool weapons, but it just didn't have the support to go with it, and most of you know that by now. I'm sure probably all of you have played it, so you know what I'm talking about when I say that. Now, I love Black Ops. This is a great game. There's balance, with a few exceptions, but I can, like, most people, most of the commentators on YouTube, including my friends and myself, can all generally do well with weapons that aren't overused. For instance, I have over 600 kills with the Uzi. That's unusual. Most people don't have that, but I still do a little Zergriz Python action there. But but most people can't have fun with this game because they're just not willing to open up to new options. People will use Ghost, Sleight of Hand, I guess Marathon, and a Fanmaster 74U. But really, if they took off, and this is also another reason a lot of people make many mistakes. People generally are running a lot, as you see I'm actually doing this game. That's the reason for the death right there. If people were running around, they should use a perk that copes with that and makes it easier for them to play the game, which in this case would be Steady and Pro, because that makes you recover from sprinting faster. Another problem people have is knifing all the time, Steady and Pro. So by dropping one of the overused perks, well, then you have a whole new set that completely changes your game style and makes you more fit in certain situations to actually kill the enemy. If people could get away from, like, just, well, this gun is overused and it's really good, well, then I think people would eventually start to see themselves just get better. Now, Ghost is actually a problem. Wings of Redemption talks about this a lot. Basically, there's no counter to it, and it affects an entire team, because when that UAV goes in, no one can know where you are, unless it's a Blackbird, of course. But that is a problem, and there's no real way of fixing it. It's sort of been there the whole time. One option would be to take it out in the next Call of Duty, but then you have, like, these UAVs that are extremely powerful. So if that were to happen, UAVs would go up in kill streak in the amount of kills it takes to get them. So after thinking about it for a little while, I sort of decided that in this next game that's coming out, Modern Warfare 3, the way that they need to balance out this perk system is by, first of all, adding in maybe a few new perks like Overkill in replacement to One-Man Army, which pretty much was Overkill with the slower transition time. But they need to set up a fourth perk system, fourth perk set. This set would have Stopping Power, Ghost, Juggernaut, and I think Flak Jacket and Hardline. Wings of Redemption was talking about this, but I don't remember exactly if he said if it was a fourth perk slot. And basically, those are the perks that affect you and how you play the game. So you can choose Stealth, Extra Health, less explosive damage, less kills for kill streaks, or the other one was more health. And so this gives you an option to give yourself a benefit, as well as having Sleight of Hand or Steady Aim or Warlord, as well as having Scavenger or what are some of the other perks? You got Scavenger, you've got Lightweight, and those would be in a completely different tier slot because they don't even compare to something like Ghost. And that's really the main thing that's holding us back. Now, just back to the gameplay real quick, I pulled out this MP5K Silence Extended Mags. They had called in the Chopper Gunner, so I just wanted to put on a Ghost class. This is actually my only Ghost class, and this is a Search and Destroy class. As you see, I have Tactical Insertion, and that's for playing dead, actually. There's a cool trick I might show you in the later game that you can use for the Tactical Insertion, where you're pretty much motionless. Now, as you can see, the game is sort of winding down. We have 1 point. That's all we have to keep. So I'm just staying around B, making sure that we hold on to it. This is basically what you have to do. I can't really stress this enough. If you have B, you will almost always win the game. Just ran out of bullets on my MP5K. Game's winding down, so I'm just sort of making sure that I don't die too many times to ruin another game, which I tend to do a lot. We win 200 to 157. Final score 38-14. 2 captures, 3 defends. Nice little gameplay. A couple of nice kill streaks. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Make sure to check back soon for some more content, and I'll see you next time.